Eliot, a young kid with a gentle heart, faced daily bullying at his school. His backpack was often thrown into a puddle, his lunch stolen, and he was the constant target of harsh words and laughter. The breaking point came on a scorching summer day when bullies humiliated Eliot by smashing an ice cream cone on his head, leaving him standing drenched and ridiculed. Fueled by this final act of cruelty, Eliot decided it was time to fight back. When Eliot finally had his revenge, the whole school was in disbelief at what gentle Eliot had done to his bullies. "Eliot Grayson must come to the principal's office," someone loudly said over the intercom of Eliot's school. He was in the middle of class, but he knew exactly why he had to go there. Everyone stared at him as he left the classroom, and even as he walked through the hallway. He knew what he had done was bad, but those 3 boys had it coming. Someone can only take bullying for so long, and Eliot took it longer than anyone could imagine. It all began rather innocently, calling him nasty names and grabbing the toys he was playing with. But as Eliot and the 3 bullies grew older, the bullying worsened. They would trip him in the hallway and sometimes even throw his finished homework in the toilet. It was brutal, as it happened to him on a daily basis. His mother had complained many times, but the school always failed to intervene as there was no proof. It also didn't help that one of the boys was actually the principal's son, which made him instantly biased. Eliot's mother had offered to transfer him to another school, but Eliot refused. He was certain that the bullying would follow him as long as he didn't stand up for himself. Every time it happened, he wanted to yell back at the boys, push them, and sometimes he even wished they would endure the same things he did. But Eliot was only 8 years old, and the boys were all a year older than him. The final straw happened on a school outing. A few of the classes went to a nearby ice cream shop to get some ice cream and cool off. While Eliot enjoyed his strawberry cone, the 3 boys sneaked up to him and grabbed it out of his hands. Eliot begged them to give it back, and they eventually did, but not in a very nice way. One of the boys smashed the ice cream cone on top of Eliot's head. They all laughed maliciously while Eliot had to hold back his tears. He quickly ran into the bathroom so no one would see him cry, and whipped the pink ice cream out of his hair. As he looked into the mirror, cheeks red and teary-eyed, he vowed to make them regret ever bullying him. When he exited the bathroom, he expected to see everyone waiting for him to go back to school, but the ice cream shop was empty. The teachers and their classes had gone back without him, which was like an extra slap in the face. An employee saw Eliot looking around him, a bit lost and confused, and said they had left, but if he ran, he could catch up to them. Before Eliot walked out of the shop, the employee stopped him and offered him a new ice cream. She didn't say anything, just smiled kindly and nodded her head. But it was exactly the thing Eliot needed at that moment. As he stood outside, he could see his class walking toward their school in the distance, so he walked the other way. It was time for Eliot to plan his revenge. He didn't want to stoop to their level. No, he wanted to make them pay in a way they would never forget, without ever physically hurting them. As he walked around, he didn't think about where he was going. He just thought about his next moves. It wasn't until he saw something in the distance that he realized where he was. Eliot had walked all the way to his grandmother's house, which was a 30-minute walk from his school that he wasn't allowed to do on his own. His grandmother opened the door with a smile on her face, asking him why he wasn't in school, but Eliot knew his grandmother was too old to realize he was lying to her. They let everyone go home early because of the nice weather. After Eliot lied about the early school release, his grandmother, unaware of the truth, worriedly eyed the sticky mess in his hair. "You should try to stay clean, Eliot," she said gently, brushing away at the residue with a damp cloth. Eliot nodded silently, not wanting to explain the real reason behind his disheveled state. The warmth in his grandmother's eyes offered comfort, yet he felt an ache in his heart for not being able to share his pain with her. When Eliot's mother arrived, her eyes immediately filled with tears upon seeing him safe. She had been overwhelmed with worry after the school called about his disappearance. "Eliot, why are you here?" she asked, voice shaking. Eliot could see the mix of relief and concern wash over her face as she hugged him tightly, afraid to let go. The moment was bittersweet, Eliot feeling the heavy weight of his secrets, even in his mother's loving embrace. The car ride home was engulfed in silence, a stark contrast to the chaos of emotions within. Eliot's mother kept stealing glances at him through the rearview mirror, her eyes clouded with worry. Every attempt to start a conversation died before it reached her lips, the air thick with unspoken fears and questions. Eliot stared out the window, wishing he could find the words to ease his mother's concern, but feeling trapped by his own silence. Eliot could feel his mother's eyes on him, filled with questions he wasn't ready to answer. "Is everything okay at school?" she finally asked, her voice laced with concern. Eliot shrugged, a lump forming in his throat. He wished he could tell her everything, but feared disappointing her. The concern in her voice made him feel even more isolated, caught between the desire to confide in her and the fear of revealing his struggles. Once home, the quietness of the house seemed to amplify the tension between Eliot and his mother. They moved through their evening routine in a dance of avoidance, neither addressing the elephant in the room. Dinner passed in silence, both lost in their own thoughts. The air was heavy with things left unsaid, the distance between them growing with each passing moment. Eliot felt a deep longing to bridge that gap, but didn't know where to start. It was during the quiet of the night, in the soft glow of the kitchen light, that Eliot's resolve crumbled. "Mom," he began, his voice barely above a whisper, "they smashed my ice cream cone on my head." The words hung in the air, heavy with emotion. Eliot braced for disappointment, for anger, but instead, he found his mother's arms wrapping around him in a fierce hug. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" she asked, her voice breaking with pain and anger, not at him, but for him. Eliot's admission ignited a fire in his mother. Her anger wasn't directed at him, but at those who had caused him pain. "We will fix this," she promised, her determination fierce. Together, they would fight back against the bullies, not with violence, but with cunning. Eliot saw a strength in his mother's eyes he hadn't noticed before, a protective fury that comforted and empowered him. For the first time in a long while, he felt a glimmer of hope. Sitting at the kitchen table, Eliot and his mother began to plot their course of action. "We need to expose them," his mother said, her mind racing with ideas. "But we have to do it smartly, without sinking to their level." They discussed various strategies, each more creative than the last, finding solace in their shared mission. This conspiracy of theirs, born out of pain, was transforming into a journey of empowerment and courage for Eliot. Their plan took shape over cups of hot chocolate, the kitchen table cluttered with notes and laptops. They sought a way to highlight the bullies' actions, to bring the truth into the open where it couldn't be ignored. "It has to be something that shows everyone what they've done," Eliot mused, his mind alight with possibilities. His mother nodded, her support unwavering. Together they were more than just family. They were allies in a cause greater than themselves. Feeling his mother's support, Eliot's spirits lifted. He was no longer a solitary figure facing down his tormentors. He was part of a team. "We'll make them regret ever messing with you," his mother said, her voice steady and sure. Eliot felt a newfound strength coursing through him, fueled by their shared resolve. Together, they were laying the groundwork for a campaign not just of revenge, but of justice. For the first time, Eliot truly believed that they could win this battle. Eliot sat at his desk, surrounded by papers and a laptop, his focus intense as he worked on his part of the plan. The mix of nerves and determination was palpable in the quiet of his room. He reviewed every detail, ensuring nothing was overlooked. "This has to work," he whispered to himself, feeling the weight of the task ahead. The plan was bold, daring, and required precision. Eliot knew there was no room for error, his resolve firm as he prepared for the day ahead. Under the cover of darkness, Eliot's mother slipped into the school grounds, her mission clear. She moved with purpose, her actions calculated to avoid detection. The school was quiet, the silence her ally as she gathered the evidence they needed. Documents, photos. Each piece was crucial. She was a shadow, slipping through the night, driven by a mother's fierce desire to protect her son and bring his bullies to justice. Eliot's mother returned home, her mission accomplished. She had managed to collect a series of documents and photographs, each one a piece of the puzzle in their plan. These items were proof, tangible evidence they could use to expose the truth. As she laid out everything on the kitchen table, she felt a mix of triumph and apprehension. This was it, the evidence that could change everything. Back home, Eliot and his mother huddled over the gathered materials, their faces illuminated by the soft light of the table lamp. They meticulously went over each document, each photograph, confirming their relevance and potential impact. "This will make them listen," Eliot's mother said, her voice steady with conviction. Together, they organized the evidence, planning their next steps with care and precision, aware of the stakes involved. As they finalized their preparations, Eliot and his mother's resolve hardened. They were a team, united against a common enemy, ready to face whatever consequences their actions might bring. "We're in this together," Eliot's mother affirmed, her hand gripping Eliot's firmly. There was no turning back now. They had a plan, evidence, and a determination to see justice served. Together, they were unstoppable. The next morning, Eliot arrived at school before anyone else. His backpack was heavier than usual, laden with mysterious envelopes that he began placing on each desk in his classroom. His heart raced with every envelope he set down, a mix of fear and anticipation surging through him. This was it, the beginning of their carefully laid plan. As he placed the last envelope, he stepped back, taking a deep breath, ready for what was to come. Eliot watched from a corner as his classmates slowly trickled into the room, each one noticing the envelopes on their desks. The room was filled with a quiet buzz, a sense of anticipation hanging in the air. Eliot's heart beat in his chest like a drum, his nerves on edge as he awaited the moment of revelation. He could see questions forming on his classmates' faces, their curiosity piqued, but the true storm was yet to come. From his vantage point, Eliot observed the bullies as they swaggered into the classroom, their laughter cutting through the morning's quiet. They noticed the envelopes but showed no concern, tossing them aside with the arrogance of those who believe themselves untouchable. Eliot's grip tightened around the edge of his desk, his resolve firming. Today, he thought, their arrogance would be their downfall. Today, everyone would see the truth. The classroom was alive with whispers and speculation as more students discovered the envelopes. "What's this about?" someone asked, turning the envelope over in their hands. The bullies, too, began to take notice, their initial disinterest turning to curiosity. Eliot could barely contain his anticipation as he watched the scene unfold, knowing that the contents of those envelopes would soon change everything. As the bell for recess rang, Eliot felt his anxiety and excitement peak. The classroom emptied, leaving the envelopes untouched on the desks. Eliot knew that upon their return, the seeds he had planted would begin to sprout. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of all their planning and preparation. Eliot waited. His breath held, ready for the world to see what he and his mother had set in motion. As students returned from recess, they began to open the envelopes, their faces a mixture of confusion and curiosity. The classroom was silent, except for the rustling of paper, as eyes scanned the contents. Eliot watched from the back, his heart racing. The initial reactions were varied. Some students frowned, others looked puzzled, but all were undeniably intrigued by what they held in their hands. The whispers started softly at first, then grew louder as the content of the envelopes stirred questions among the students. "What is all this about?" one student whispered to another, flipping through the pages with a growing sense of bewilderment. The full nature of the contents remained hidden, cloaked in mystery. But it was clear Eliot had sparked a wave of curiosity that rippled through the room. The bullies, having finally taken notice of the envelopes, laughed them off with a carelessness born of ignorance. They joked among themselves, tossing the papers aside without a second thought. Their laughter, loud and unsettling, filled the room, but beneath their facade of indifference, there was a flicker of uncertainty. They were unaware of the storm that was about to break over them. Word of the mysterious envelope spread quickly through the school, creating a buzz of anticipation. In hallways and classrooms, students whispered about Eliot's plan, speculation, running wild. "Have you seen what's in the envelopes?" became the question of the hour, with everyone eager to uncover the mystery. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a collective curiosity that had not been seen in a long time. Eliot felt a surge of fear and determination as he watched the events unfold. His plan was in motion, irreversible now. The initial reactions were more varied than he had anticipated, but this only strengthened his resolve. He knew the path he had chosen was fraught with risks, but seeing his peers' engagement, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. His plan was working. Now he just had to see it through. As the day progressed, Eliot began to notice subtle shifts in the way his classmates interacted with him. There were nods of acknowledgement, small smiles, and even a few words of support, whispered in passing. These signs of solidarity, small as they were, marked a significant change in the school's social landscape. Eliot, once isolated, was starting to see the first fruits of his labor. The tide was turning. The school was on edge, a palpable sense of anticipation in the air. Students and teachers alike sensed that something significant was about to unfold. The mysterious envelopes had set the stage, and now everyone was waiting for the next act. Rumors swirled, theories abounded, and the question on everyone's lips was, what will happen next? Eliot's actions had captured the school's attention. Now the spotlight was on him. The intercom crackled to life, and Eliot's name echoed through the hallways, summoning him to the principal's office. His stomach tightened as he stood up, the weight of his actions bearing down on him. As he walked through the corridors, heads turned, and whispers followed him like shadows. This was it, the moment of reckoning. Eliot squared his shoulders and stepped forward, ready to face whatever came next. Inside the principal's office, Eliot faced the principal across a wide desk, the envelopes laid out between them. The principal's expression was inscrutable, his eyes searching Eliot's for a hint of his intentions. "Can you explain this?" he asked, gesturing to the envelopes. Eliot took a deep breath, the tension in the room palpable. This was his chance to speak, to lay bare the reasons behind his actions. Eliot looked the principal in the eye, gathering his courage. "These envelopes," he began, his voice steady, "represent my stand against the bullying I've endured." He paused, allowing his words to sink in. The principal leaned back, listening intently as Eliot continued to explain. The tension that had filled the room began to shift, replaced by a growing realization of the gravity of Eliot's revelations. Eliot stood firm, his message clear. It was time for change. The school holds its breath as Eliot steps into the principal's office, the air charged with a heavy sense of anticipation. Inside, the usual hum of activity seems to pause, as if the entire school is waiting on the edge of their seats. Eliot's heart beats loudly against the silence, the significance of the moment weighing heavily on him as he prepares to reveal the truth that has tormented him for so long. Eliot begins to speak, his voice steady but laced with emotion as he hints at the deep-seated reasons behind his actions. The details of his plan remain veiled in mystery, his words carefully chosen to prepare the principal for what's to come. Across the desk, the principal leans in, intrigued yet unaware of the full extent of Eliot's experience, the tension between them palpable as Eliot skirts the edges of his grand reveal. The principal's interest is piqued as Eliot continues, the gravity of his words hinting at a deeper, more complex plan than initially apparent. Despite the seriousness of the conversation, the full scope of Eliot's actions remains just beyond reach, the principal's curiosity mingling with a growing concern. Eliot's resolve is clear, his determination to be heard unshakable as he navigates the delicate dance of disclosure. Eliot offers a glimpse into his strategy, revealing just enough to pique further interest without laying all his cards on the table. His hints raise more questions than answers, strategically unfolding the narrative piece by piece. The principal, now fully engaged, senses the impending significance of Eliot's revelations, the air thick with anticipation as Eliot methodically sets the stage for his final act. As Eliot speaks, the anticipation within the school's walls reaches a fever pitch, every word adding to the building suspense. Outside the principal's office, whispers and speculative glances fill the corridors, the student body united in their eagerness for the impending reveal. Eliot, fully aware of the attention his actions have garnered, presses on, his narrative gaining momentum as he edges closer to the heart of his message. Finally, Eliot unveils the centerpiece of his plan, a meticulously crafted comic book detailing the bully's cruelty with vivid, illustrated evidence. The principal's eyes widen in shock as he pages through the comic, each panel a testament to Eliot's suffering and resilience. The room is heavy with the weight of realization as the principal finally sees the full extent of the bullying through Eliot's eyes. The impact of the visual narrative, undeniable. Word of the comic book spreads like wildfire through the school, eliciting a collective gasp of shock and disbelief. Students and faculty alike are confronted with the harsh reality of the bully's actions, the illustrated evidence challenging their perceptions and igniting a wave of empathy for Eliot. The bullies, once feared and respected, find themselves the subject of scrutiny, their cruelty laid bare for all to see. The revelation of the comic book marks a turning point, the bullies' laughter dying in their throats as they face the consequences of their actions. Isolated and exposed, they grapple with the fallout of their cruelty, their confidence shattered. The school's culture begins to shift, the tables turned as the victim finds his voice, and the aggressors are left to reckon with their behavior in the face of widespread condemnation. In the wake of the comic book's unveiling, the principal promises decisive action against bullying. Confronted with undeniable evidence, he acknowledges the school's failure to protect Eliot and commits to implementing measures to ensure a safer, more inclusive environment. Eliot, witnessing the principal's firm stance, feels a cautious optimism, hopeful that his ordeal might pave the way for lasting change within the school. Leaving the principal's office, Eliot feels a complex mix of relief and triumph. His plan, bold and fraught with risk, has succeeded in shining a light on the darkness of bullying. Though the journey has been arduous, Eliot walks away with a sense of vindication, his head held high. The school, forever changed by his actions, now faces the task of healing and moving forward, with Eliot leading the way toward a brighter, more compassionate future. Eliot walks into school, a changed atmosphere greeting him. Respect and kindness replace the looks of pity and disdain he once faced daily. His peers, once bystanders or worse, now nod in recognition and appreciation of his courage. This new chapter marks a stark contrast from the loneliness that once filled Eliot's school days, symbolizing a victory not just for him, but for the entire school community. Inspired by Eliot's bravery, the school begins to implement new anti-bullying policies. Workshops, assemblies, and support groups emerge, all aimed at fostering a culture of respect and empathy. The administration, once passive, now takes an active role in ensuring the safety and well-being of every student. Eliot's actions have become a catalyst for change, transforming the school into a place where bullying is no longer tolerated. Eliot's comic book becomes a powerful tool in the school's new anti-bullying curriculum. Teachers and students alike use it as a discussion starter, examining the themes of empathy, courage, and resilience. Eliot, once seen as a victim, is now celebrated as a victor and a hero. His story has not only changed his life, but has also made a lasting impact on the culture of his school. In a quiet moment, one of the bullies approaches Eliot with a sincere apology. The awkwardness of the encounter gives way to a significant moment of forgiveness. This apology, though not erasing the past, marks the beginning of healing. Eliot listens, sees the genuine remorse in the bully's eyes, and decides to offer the chance for a fresh start. It's a small but profound step towards mending the fabric of their school life. The bully's apology sparks a broader conversation among students about the impact of bullying. Discussion groups and school assemblies focus on understanding, empathy, and the power of forgiveness. Eliot's classmates begin to share their own stories, creating a ripple effect of healing and reconciliation throughout the school. This new openness fosters a sense of community and support that had been missing for too long. Reflecting on their journey, Eliot and his mother recognize how their fight against bullying has brought them closer. Their shared struggle and victory have strengthened their bond, highlighting the importance of family support in overcoming adversity. Together, they look back on their journey, grateful for the lessons learned and the strength they found in each other. Their relationship, fortified by adversity, has become a source of mutual pride and joy. Eliot now views the future with optimism. No longer the target of bullies, he has earned the respect of his peers and has become a respected member of the school community. The fear and isolation that once clouded his days have been replaced with confidence and a sense of belonging. Eliot looks forward to a future where he can continue to make a difference, his experiences shaping him into a leader and advocate for others. Eliot's story transcends the confines of his school, inspiring a movement against bullying in the wider community. Other schools begin to reach out, seeking advice on implementing similar anti-bullying initiatives. Eliot becomes a symbol of change, his courage and resilience encouraging students everywhere to stand up against bullying. His impact is profound, showing that even the actions of one person can inspire a wave of positive change. The school community, once divided by fear and apathy, now stands united in its commitment to kindness and respect. Eliot's story has galvanized students, teachers, and parents alike, fostering a collaborative effort to maintain a safe and inclusive environment. This unity is a testament to the power of collective action and the enduring impact of standing up for what is right. Eliot and his mother take a moment to celebrate their hard-fought victory. They recognize the courage it took to stand up to the bullies and the positive change that courage has effected. Their celebration is quiet, but profound, a reflection on the journey they've undertaken and the obstacles they've overcome. Together, they acknowledge the growth, the pain, and the triumphs, knowing that their actions have paved the way for a brighter future. Reflecting on their journey, Eliot and his mother discuss the valuable lessons they've learned. Bravery, resilience, and the importance of speaking out against injustice stand out as pillars of their experience. They recognize that their struggle has not only changed their lives, but has also had a ripple effect, inspiring others to take a stand. These lessons, hard-earned and deeply felt, will guide them in all their future endeavors. Eliot's actions continue to inspire change within the school and beyond, demonstrating the significant impact one individual can have. Stories of his courage spread, encouraging others to confront bullying and advocate for a more inclusive society. This ripple effect is a powerful reminder of how personal bravery can spark widespread transformation, shaping a more empathetic and united community. The school's atmosphere has undergone a remarkable transformation. Students and teachers embrace a culture of inclusivity and respect, a far cry from the days of Eliot's torment. This new environment, characterized by understanding and cooperation, promises a brighter future for all. Eliot's legacy is a testament to the enduring power of change, proving that even the darkest times can lead to a future filled with light. Eliot contemplates the legacy of his actions, realizing that his story will inspire future generations to stand up against injustice. His journey from victim to victor is a beacon of hope, showing that resilience and courage can overcome adversity. Eliot's legacy is not just in the changes he's brought to his school, but in the message that even one voice can make a difference in the fight against bullying. In the end, Eliot moves forward, surrounded by friends and supported by a community that has learned the importance of unity and standing against bullying. This new chapter in his life is filled with hope and the promise of brighter days ahead. Eliot's journey has not only transformed his life, but has also left an indelible mark on his school, setting the stage for a future where kindness and respect are paramount.